Well, good day, everybody. First of all, thank you, everybody. It's always amazing to have so many people in our mobile planetarium community. I have to excuse Susan Button. She called in sick. She's been really sick for several days now, and she of course told me you have to record the meeting because I have to watch it later. So, but she told me to. Okay, so we have an agenda for today, and I'm going to bring it up, and it's this one. So I'm going to start with some statements, general things about mobile planetariums, and especially because we're very close to our celebration, our international celebration worldwide next Wednesday for us. And so we're going to see some final details about what's going to happen and how mobiles can participate. And I have this agenda for us. Thank you for everyone that's going to be presenting. In the end, I want to make a small debate that I've been announcing because there are still some things that we need to discuss that are particular to mobile planetariums. So, okay, let me bring this down again and let me begin the presentation.
Hey Marcos,
Hi,
could
Alan.
you could you paste that into the chat so that we have reference whenever we want?
Yes,
Just the text of it.
sure. Pretty sure I can do that from the presentation itself. So let me copy this text. That's a great idea. Okay, there you go. You have the agenda in the chat.
Thank you.
So I'm going to begin with my part here. And at the same time, I have to be at the meeting people to the meeting. So I'll see how I can do that. Okay. So to begin with, I want to invite you to the final event, the online live transmitted event that's going to happen on Wednesday. It's going to be a non-stop 1 hour transmission at 18 hours UTC. Hope that's convenient for everybody. And it's going to be a live stream on YouTube. So there's not much you need to just participate. But those who are going to present actually are going to be connected via a Zoom meeting. That's the one that's going to be transmitted to YouTube. So unless you are actually presenting live, you just need the YouTube link, which I already have it, and Guillermo has it too. We are going to post it in the chat later. Um, please don't miss it. Anyway, if you cannot attend, it's going to be recorded, of course, and it's going to be permanently posted in the YouTube channel for the IPS. So make sure you already subscribed to YouTube and the IPS channel. And let's start with this. When you have a mobile planetarium projects, and this is what has all of us united here, is because it poses many challenges. Each one of us has thought about how I'm going to build or design a mobile planetarium. There are many choices and many challenges, especially. And so you have to think about, okay, if I'm going to enter this world and I'm going to have a mobile, what do I have and what do I do with this? So this is what it's going to be about, because it's a matter of how much money, how much other resources you may have, your time, if you have partners or your family. Like in my case, it's my family who participates with our work with the planetarium. So you have to like build your own project and create techniques. I remember back in 1991 when I would grab a first Starlab planetarium that had a cylinder, and I had no reference. I didn't know there was an IPS. There was no internet, so I just invented what I was going to do to make presentations with that dome. Let me just check a little bit if I'm missing accepting people here at the meeting. Excuse me, I'm missing just a minute to make sure it's properly everybody here.
Any co-host can admit people into the Zoom room as well.
Oh, you're doing it? Thank you.
I'm not a co-host, but if you make me one, I can do that.
I do.
Okay.
Don't worry.
So that okay. Then I'm not worrying anymore about that. Really, thank you. Okay, going back to this after starting with that planetarium in 1991, I kept evolving. As soon as the video I could add to the cylinder turned from slide projectors to DVD at first. Then I had a small projector with just a chip and a video file, things like that. You keep evolving, but there was always something I had to keep on trying to do, and it's the quality of the experience. When people get into the dome, they actually don't know what they're going to be confronted to, right? That's the word. But the thing about the quality experience are things like this. For example, if it's going to be dark, make it really dark. Don't let light come in below the clothes or the entrance. Try to make everything as dark as possible. No cables. If, for example, we had cables, of course, for the audio and everything. So we started using floors so we could hide the electricity cables and everything. So when everybody gets into the dome, they don't see anything. There's a central module there, totally black matte painted. So when you turn off the lights and start projecting, you just see the projection, nothing else. So it's kind of what we think about the quality of the experience, make it really immersive so they don't get distracted with other things. About the sound, I've been keeping the sound every time improving the quality of the equipment. Since you have more than an IMAX there, it's a full dome, you want the sound to be proper, that everybody can listen. Small domes, well, no problem, but you still want the experience and the subwoofer sound and everything. So maybe put some emphasis there. And dare to try new things. I could tell long stories about what we have been doing here in Costa Rica. Right now, for example, next week, a dance group, professional dance group from the government asked me to provide a service that is to project on the theater, but in the middle of the sitting, not in the scenario where they're going to be dancing. They want the projector in the center of the people and just throw some stars or rain on the walls, things like that. And it's not the dome. I don't have to even carry the dome, just the projector. But there are things that are different and that can always be done. Just think differently about what you can do with all the equipment. And of course, it's never over. I want to improve. For example, I'm thinking about how do I make a small laser show inside the mobile. Okay, I think I can do that because our projector is located inside a wooden module that I'm going to show it to you next. Looks like a fire pit, so I can put inside of it some equipment, and so that I can have lasers just coming up, not to the sides. In fact, let me show this to you. I have some photographs here. When I start setting up, look, there's some flooring that we always use. At the beginning, I had not thought about that. And the edges of our first Starlab suffered from people sitting on them, and then on the floor, you had some friction, and it really wasn't good for the dome. But later on, we started doing this, and now we protect always the dome. And look at that, it's black, okay? There's the central module there. You can see like a wooden box in the middle. And back there are some seatings. Look, you can see them. Some trapezoids, pillows. I had written an article about this in the Planetarium many years ago, but I keep insisting it's worth it to provide some comfort to the people in your mobile, because this allows them to be sitting up or just laying down comfortably. It's soft. And this also protect the edge of the dome. So look at that. You have the floor below the dome, and you have the pillows on top of the edge. So it's absolutely protected. Okay, and that has worked very, very well. And our current Starlab, which is very delicate, the digital is cloth, is perfectly okay. The edge, after several years, it has been protected. So it's a useful recommendation to that. Of course, what's the catch here? There's some volume in your car that you have to take all of those, but we wouldn't stop doing that. Really, it works. Okay, let me continue here. Look at that. This is the same module we use, but inside our old Starlab. It's a nylon material, but look at the seating there. The trapezoids are located around, and so they are protecting the edge of the dome. There's the floor and the pillows. And you see people doing like that. Okay. So just a recommendation, and all the equipment is in the center. Of course, if you're going to be working with a mirror, you have to have the projection from one side of the dome. Then you have to decide what's going to be like the front part of it. But if it's concentric, like in our case, this works really, really well. Okay, here. I'm going to stop this by now because I'm going to continue in the second part of my presentation with the debate. But yes, I think when we share all of this, sometimes I myself find useful things from all of you. Okay, that was smart. Okay, no, this may not work in my case, but this is what we are here for. Okay, so again, thank you for being here. Let's go back to the agenda, and I'll tell Alex to continue here. So let me stop sharing this as soon as I can find the mouse. There it goes. Okay.
All right. So I'll just go straight into sharing as well.
Sure.
Hi, everyone. Alex Bock with Linköping University and the Visualization Center C, both located in Sweden, where we have a fixed dome, but also a mobile dome that we are traveling around with. And then partially because of the university, we're quite a research-heavy institution, out of which this project came about, which I hope a couple of you have heard about already, at least, which is called Open Space, which is a astrovisualization software that is completely free, open source, and go to the webpage, you can download it and run it in essentially any kind of display environments. So flat screens, as you can see here, obviously, multi-projector systems, fisheye lenses, spherical mirror, multi-display walls, and so forth. So there's a lot of stuff that can be configured. And what I was going for is, if there's any questions along the way, about these 10, 15 minutes that I have, just put them in the chat. I'll try to address them as they come. But I also put my email address in the chat. So if there's stuff later, then more than happy to talk about that as well. Cool. All right. So I started out on Earth. Let me animate the time a bit nicer so we have a nice view eastwards of the Alps, because it's always a nice view looking at the data sets that in this case come from the Esri company located in the United States. And as we're zooming out, we start fading in another data set that is in this case VIRS. So that gives us daily weather information. So as you can see in the bottom, we're currently set to yesterday's date. So this is actually how yesterday looked like from a weather point of view. One of the nice things here, actually, well, I think at least it's nice, there was a problem with the satellite. So there's some missing data over here. So this is all as raw as we can possibly show it to make it still make sense. But it also opens up the opportunity to talk about like how do we actually measure all of these things as well. So as we're here in low Earth orbit, I wanted to show some of the other things that are already available. So what I'm doing here is I'm running our current version as it is on the GitHub right now, but this is more or less the version that we're going to be releasing with the next version coming out in June this year. But all of the data is already available in the downloadable version. So what I can do is now let me drag in one of the assets, which I'm assuming some people recognize, but if not, I'll put a little helper label on it, and we can say like, oh, I want the trails to be a bit longer, and we can have a look at where the GPS navigation satellites are exactly, well, on the 2nd of May at 10 or 11 UTC. So if I animate time a bit forwards, you can see how they move around the Earth, and we can use that to explain if you want to use that as part of your story. Or if I drag in the Russian Molniya satellites, we can look at these ones as well. So I'll make the trails a bit nicer, similarly to the other ones. We can see these have a much more elliptical orbit because they're mostly used for communication over Russia, or used to. So yeah, that all makes sense. But of course, what everyone and their mom wants to know these days, of course, are the Starlink satellites. If I drag those in, and because they're a lot closer to Earth, they move a lot faster. So I'm slowing down speed a bit, and we fade up the trails and the default gray. Maybe we want to have like a nicer yellow to make it pop a bit more against the Earth. And we can see how populated Earth's orbit is at this point. So as I was dragging this file in, we went out to yet another data provider called Celestrak, which provides all of those orbital trails for free. And as I was dragging it in, I was downloading the newest set of satellites as they were in this moment. So they're updated like as real time as we can possibly make it, which we can also now show with, for instance, the Kuiper satellites, which there are not that many of, and they were only launched pretty recently. But can already see how they start swiveling around in their one orbital plane as they were launched. What is it now? 3-4 days ago. Over here. Cool. All right. Yeah, just a very quick brief thing of some of the things that are already included in the program. But of course, it's open source. All of this stuff is very easily accessible. So if you want to put in your own data sets, that is pretty easy, and all of it is designed to make that as smooth as possible. What I want to go to now, very briefly, is over here on the moon. And let's animate time a bit more to bring our known faces of the moon a bit more into view. Because I want to go to Apollo 17. And either, which in this case, I know where it is, but we already have a little marker that lets me rotate straight into it and fly closer. Now the resolution of the default layer starts losing us a bit, but we can add more layers. So for instance, in this case, the USGS has released a high resolution map of the Apollo 17 landing site, which now gets downloaded over the internet. And as I'm zooming in, we'll be seeing where the capsule landed, surrounded by the actual satellite images that were being taken. Similarly, USGS also released they call it TRAV map. This one traditionally loads a bit slower because it's coming from the US. It's a map of all of the different traverses that they did, with which station did they stop at, and that all of that is pretty easy to synchronize to the audio and like tell a story about, in this case, Apollo 17. But as you can see, like Apollo 11 is here. We have other parts for Apollo 15 is quite a lot of data available as well. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that's already there just to peruse and already present in your planetariums. Cool. So another one as we're flying out. We could be flying to Mars, similar resolution as on Earth. So we have a 25 centimeter resolution on most places on Mars. That is also all free to use. And if someone wants to, we can go there a bit later. But as we're out here, I wanted to show, for instance, the main belt asteroid. That takes a couple of seconds to actually load. And here we are. And now we have the location of all of the main belt asteroids. So same thing as before, if I'm looking at from the top. Well, let's move at maybe 30 days per second. We can see that each, again, same as with the satellites, the data was downloaded as I was dragging it in. And all of the individual dots that you're seeing are asteroids that we know of, that are all, again, free data sets that are available. So then let's leave the solar system and turn on, let's say, for example, constellations. And now these are optimized for in a dome environment, but maybe let's make them a bit more visible here. So here we have the different constellation signs. And I mean, as many of you are familiar with from other softwares, as we're starting to zoom out, we'll start seeing that all of these constellations are actually just what we're seeing is a 2D projection of a 3D universe. So as we're zooming out, the cosmic hedgehog starts appearing, and all of the constellations start moving into each other. So now we're flying into the digital universe catalog of data sets, and let's get rid of the constellations because at this point they don't really make much sense anymore. And we can have a look at what's currently hot in the news is exoplanets yet again, which is very nice. So here we're highlighting again pretty accurately, concurrently, all of the confirmed exoplanet systems. So all of the stars that have a blue ring around them, we have discovered at least one exoplanet in those systems. And so far, so good. So what's currently in the news a lot is that we might have found some molecules that potentially maybe are of organic origin, particular on K2-18b. So let's actually see how that system looks like. So I'll bring up our exoplanet view, and we could now go to any exoplanet system that has been discovered. Let's go to K2-18, add it to the system. And now we're flying to one of these blue little rings. I'll get rid of them as we come closer. And here we are. So this is now that exoplanet system. So the blue, mostly green ring around it is the habitable zone around this star. And now in here we see that there's two planets that are actually orbiting around its host star. Both of them pretty eccentric in their orbit. But also what we show here is that, or what you can see is that the orbits are not nicely defined little lines, but rather a bit blurry, which indicates the uncertainty in the semi-major axis of these exoplanetary systems. So depending on which one we go to, we can see like how certain are we actually with where those are. And likewise, for example, we can show, like what's the distance of one astronomical unit in this system compared to the planet, so that we can see like have a better intuitive understanding of how large this system is. And of course, just to continue the grand tour, we can leave our Milky Way, look at the Tully data sets, the Sloan Digital Sky Survey, quasars, and the cosmic microwave background radiation. So those were my 10 minutes. This is one of maybe 15 to 20 profiles that we have. So there's a whole bunch of different other things that we could be looking at, different planets, all kinds of NASA and ESA missions that are in the system and ready to be presented, which is all really exciting. So I see that there's at least 2 questions if I have the time, Marco.
Yes, of course. There are questions in the chat, please.
Yeah, cool. D, so what kind of data I'm talking about when we can load our own? So all of those that you mentioned, we can show videos, we can show images, or we can play back audio. But you can also create, if you have your own subset of satellites that you want to show, you can create a data file and then load that one in. So everything that I've shown in here it's ultimately based on top of just a text file that in this case we have written, but any user could have written as well. And there's documentation on our webpage available on how to actually write these data files as well. We're in the process of improving that, but I think it's already in a very good state to get. I mean, there's a lot of people that are generating their own content for it. And for images, for instance, it's as easy as, I mean, I'm only sharing my open space window. I'm only sharing my open space window right now, but I'm just dragging in a JPEG, and now it's in here, and I can move it around. Let's say move it a quarter of a screen to the top, and let's move it a third of the screen to the left, or to the right in this case. So it's very easy to add those directly, and then also make them build a show around them. Then can we see the fisheye view? Sure can do. Let me switch my screen share to show my entire screen. So shutting down open space. So this is now like, if you download it, this is going to be exactly the view that you're going to get as well. So if I start it, you're going to see the launcher, in which case I started with the flat screen over here, these window options. Up here is the profile that I was talking about, all of the different profiles that exist. But for the window options, what I can do, for example, is select, let's say I want a single fisheye. So I select this window option, click start, and now we're starting with exactly that profile just in a fisheye. This one now, it's just a JSON file that you can edit. It has for us, sensible default values, but you're highly encouraged to modify those to reflect whatever you actually want to do. So for example, resolution of your screen, where it is. If you have a multiple window setup, you can have the user interface on one window and the rendering on another window, for example. So if I make this bigger now, so now we're running in fisheye, and we could be doing exactly the same thing. Like you can see at the bottom, the user interface is identical to what we were just looking at.
Excuse me, how do you render that if you want to have a video file of this?
Oh, a video file. Yeah, that's easy. So let's say we want to have a landing on Earth, for instance. So we have a setting, one of the panels down here, this little camera icon, we call it session recording. If I open that up over here, I can now specify a file name. So let's see, mobile dome demo. If I now record, everything I'm doing in open space is now being recorded. So as I'm flying down, and maybe we're tilting up, and for some reason, maybe I wanted to have this kind of view. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter what the view exactly is, of course. So now I'm stopping recording, and I can say, give me the mobile dome demo, and play it back. And now it's hand-free. It just plays that back exactly the same way as I did it now. If I would have changed any colors of trails, that would be baked into this file as well. And if I stop it, there's this little output frames checkbox. And if I do this now, and now my computer is working a bit harder. So if I go to my screenshots folder, this is the correct time. So my computer is currently rendering out a stack of PNGs 60 times per second that you can then use any software to actually make into a video. So it literally takes 2 minutes to record a video of any flight.
Yeah, there's still another question there.
Oh yeah. Which of the OS functions remain when I do not have internet access? There is a profile called offline, which you only need access to the internet once, and then it downloads all of the data. It loses quite a lot. Like for example, this view of the Earth that we're currently seeing, that comes through the internet. There is a way to configure that all of that stuff is cached, and I mean that goes beyond this discussion. But like, drop me in, or like send me a message on the Slack, Andreas. Happy to set that up with you. There's a caching system that if you fly over it, it stores it locally. And then the next time you fly over it, it'll just use the local version without trying to access the internet. And can one reduce the number of functions and switches? Yes, there is. It's not ready yet, but we hope to have it done by June. We have a new interface builder called, we call it Show Composer, where you can basically build your own interface by basically dragging and dropping buttons and text and videos and images and so forth. This one's an earlier version of this, but that one will allow you to basically configure your own user interface to your liking, and then basically get rid of all of the buttons that you might want to not see. Cool. The download was already answered, so that's great. Are you going to embed volumetric models? So the atmosphere technically is a volumetric model, albeit being procedurally evaluated. And the other one is, well, sure, the answer is yes. In fact, let me go back out to the Milky Way. This rendering of the Milky Way is actually a volumetric rendering. So that is an RGB volume that we display. There's another profile called Bastille Day, which is showing a coronal mass ejection as a volumetric data set. For nebulae and star clusters, no, we don't have that, but all of the functions are already built in. So shoot me a message, and happy to work with you how to actually set that up. It's at the end, it's getting a data and how to finagle it into open space, which should be definitely doable. Cool. So yeah, lots of stuff to do. Drop me an email, drop me a message. Happy to share. And as I said, all free for anything.
Thank you. That's great, Alex. I can add, for example, when we are at the school and we're going to do some live interactive with the students, sometimes we dare to use a bit of Stellarium for simple things, but I will be very afraid to switch to this kind of software while I have 25 kids maybe misbehaving, and you have 23 minutes before the next group comes in. So once you are at the school, things should be like simple. That's what I asked. How do you render that? So you have things like ready, but it's great, and I would love to do some renderings about that galaxy and everything. Yeah, it's good. Really good. Thank you. Let me go back to the agenda just so we all check what's next here. There you go, and Francois. Thank you.
Hello, hello. Alors, in first, sorry for my English is very not good. Sorry. Alors, in 2023, remember, I have out this this twin album music. Legacy to centenary of Planetarium. Donc the album Planetarium Century. John Voss speak about this in the opening ceremonial in October 2023. Donc, this album have two CD available also in audio file on Bandcamp. I give the link after. This album have 17 song music. The last music of this album, Laniakea Beyond Infinity, 22 minutes. And the music is music created by three musicians, essentially keyboards and synthesizer. It's a tribute to Berlin School, a Dutch movement of music, music electronique. Now, one musician, Jean-Luc Briançon, Kurtz Manfields, have created a unique piece, unique song for the centennial of opening public planetarium for the May 7, enfin, the day, sorry. Alors, I share the screen. Alors, with audio. Alors, hop. Voilà, donc you can see the visual. Voilà, donc my one musician of album, it's Jean-Luc Briançon, Kurt Manfields have created this unique song, Planetarium Century Public Eyes. As the duration of the song is the French date 7 minutes 5 seconds for 7 May, donc in French date. Voilà. Alors, this song on the album is available on Bandcamp. I give the link on the chat. Alors, je cherche. After, je vous le mettrai après. After. Et if possible, if possible to hear an extract. Alors, hop. Alors, sorry. Alors, the song. Alors, where? Ah, voilà, here. Audio, OK?
Yep. Yep.
Alors, this song, this music synthesizer have added the voice, the synthetic voice, like Mellotron. If you know this old system, donc the voice, like the voice of public Discover Planetarium with wow. Voilà, donc I stop the share. Ah, allez. Voilà. I give the link here. Voilà. Donc, voilà, donc this I hope this song is broadcasted to the end ceremony on the 7th May. I write at Björn Voss. Voilà, donc et I am very honored and happy to have to manage this project. And donc this album and the song is available in Bandcamp on the world. And thank you.
Well, thank you. The song really actually sounds great. I can think about many images to put to it. And Francois, I'm pretty sure your English is much better than our French, at least for most of us. So you really do it well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Very much. So there is the link. So where we can get the track.
In the
Right?
chat.
It's in the
Mhm.
chat. All right. Okay.
Thank you.
We go back to the agenda. And Loris, are you there? Find Loris from Oni. No, not around. Okay, let's continue in the meantime. Let's go back to this. And okay, Lionel, please.
Okay, then if Loris come, he'll go after me. And I would like here to present something. It's the software Spacecrafter 2025, which is a fork made from the well-known Stellarium software. Loris has come. I authorize.
Let me tell him to go after you.
Okay? Yeah, okay. And now I will share my screen to show you the software. But first of all, I would like to introduce a work made with Dario Tiveron from the the Italian Planetarium Association. And I will share as well the audio because it's related to something, a project that I wanted to do a long time ago to realize in French something that I listened about. Yeah, all of the screen. Okay. And the project was to create a song using the constellations. And that project was interesting because the constellations about seasonal constellations were presented at this moment with a think tank Planetarium. And the problem was that not only constellations from the season were presented in those four parts: winter, spring, summer, and autumn. So I wanted to be only related to each season with the constellations visible through our latitude in France, but it corresponds for most of the European people and also for the US and Canada and some of Asia, of course, like Japan. And so I decided, using an idea made by Dario Tiveron, to create a song using the constellation and using for getting the best rhymes using Chat GPT. And then with a lot of arrangement in the end of lines with rhymes provided, I made something in French and I translated it in English using ChatGPT as well. And then I changed a lot because some parts were missing, and put it into Suno AI software to create this piece. And the problem is that my English is not perfect to find the best rhymes in English. So that's why I would need help if some people are interested to make a better version of the lyrics. Please contact me, or I'll give in the chat the Google document in order to do a collaborative work. And so I will use then now Spacecrafter, this fork from Stellarium, because it permits to integrate commands, script commands that make the visuals associated to the lyrics. So let's go for the show. Here we go.
Beneath the spring sky clear and wide.
I don't have the focus. And then talk about the winter constellations, the summer constellation that we will see at nighttime, at the beginning of the night, when the Earth will move around the sun in the solar system. And that way we can explain a lot of things. And of course, we can as well explain more about the movement of the planets around the solar system using our software. I'm missing the planets. We can, with our software, exaggerate the size of the planets. We can add, of course, the asteroid belts, and moving with the joypad in an analogic way, we can see that the planets are moving around the sun, and as seen from the Earth, we see them not like circles around the sun, but like some sort of lines, because it's like put on a table and we are in front of the table and not seeing it from above. And that way we can explain about the zodiacal constellation as well, and many more things with this model. And we can go away, we can add the, it's a way to explain a lot of things. So I stop there, and I will give into the chat the way to get the lyrics in English, do your own, and if you don't know how to do it by yourself using Suno AI or any other lyric composing system, get in touch with me and I'll help you to make the song. Okay, hi.
That's great. I want the Spanish version, in fact.
With pleasure, Marco.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Lionel. I got lost for a minute because the connection here, so it was a good thing that you were co-host here. Loris, are you there? Oh, there. Please do continue.
I am here. Okay. I just continue. Okay. Okay. Welcome to everyone. Oh, it's a big group also today. Yeah, 55. My compliment to the organizer, to Susan and Marco, as usual. I begin to remember that the Italian colleague Gianluca Di Luce is not with us. He's involved for all the month in the beautiful location of the city center of Vicenza, a wonderful city, famous Palladio architectures for people that love art and history. And I am here just to present you some item that I present also in our occasion, but with some news. And I am happy that is with us also Alan Good, hello, Alan, that helped me with a huge work to prepare one of the page that I remember today. I try to remember in the chat. Okay, with a link in the case that some colleague doesn't know this page. Okay, I put in the chat now. Okay. Okay. It doesn't see. Sorry. I try again. Is it just the chapter done in the chapter resource of IPS website? Is a collection of voices and okay. I think that is arrived or not. No, probably. I do some. No. Strange. You doesn't see nothing? No. Oh, yes, you see. Okay. Is arrived. You received?
No,
You
not
received
yet.
on the
Not
chat?
yet.
Not yet.
I put
Probably.
a link to the Voices page on IPS.
You can see it. It's there. Yeah.
Thank you, Alan. It's strange because I saw probably well, I don't know. In any case, it's a collection of short audio recording that with the help of Alan during the year we collect in this page that in the last time is not updated with new contribution, but is a rich page with voices of many colleagues from different countries and someone we lost also and are about the main subject is naked eye phenomena and sky object that our audience, anyone can see. I imagine that the people, the planetarium that love live show and also to promote the sky observation, mainly not necessarily through telescope, like this subject. Also because it's a way to involve after a projection in the dome to invite the public. Okay, you can see this night just in connection with the month of the sky of the month, or in connection with particular phenomena. There is a list of 15, 20 different mainly phenomena in celestial body that can be seen see at naked eye. And for example, imagine what happened just a few days ago in Spain with a large portion of the territory without the light. And I imagine that usually happen. I remember also recently happened in Los Angeles. I find this news in on the web. Imagine how many persons that live in the city center, that discover the Milky Way. Obviously, depend on the clouds. Is got wonderful condition for this occasion because it's no full moon. But I suppose, I don't know if Lionel knows something about the south of France that happens with someone saw the dark in the city center during the blackout. I don't know if happened for someone, no. But I suppose that in Spain, also because I saw the image from the satellite of Spain, and it's dark. For example, therefore it's impossible. Or Laila, would you like to say something?
The thing is that it was in southwest, and I live in southeast
Okay.
of France.
No, but usually this kind of information are shared and appear also on the web and so on, because for many people is a surprise. I listen a voice someone that would like to interview? No.
If I may, most of the
Okay.
images of the Iberian Peninsula darkened at night are fake. The power was restored before night. So
for all the territory.
yes, Portugal and Spain.
Okay. In fact, thank you.
Only some minor locations were dark at night. Most cities
okay.
were already with power.
Okay. Could be it depends. If our location far from the city, no surprise about the night sky. But in the case that appear also in some place with many pollution, light pollution, could be interesting. But it's just an example. Just an example recently, therefore, for that reason that I tell about. Also because, for example, I like to collect memories about sky event. In fact, in the page prepared with Alan, there is also a list of astronomical memory observation. Imagine the first time that you saw a solar eclipse or a wonderful meteor shower, or the first time that you saw the Milky Way in the best condition, and so on. Anyone can have memories about that. And it's curious when, for example, there are persons that after a trip in a dark site, return in the location. In my case, I collect this kind of memory and say that, oh, I was in the south of Italy, and during my summer, I saw a wonderful line, white line on the top of the sky. Oh, fantastic! You can see also in the city center all that, but in the case that there is a black hole, obviously a blackout, and therefore it is curious that there are person, also older person, that discover the Milky Way only at the end or very late the occasion to discover. For us, is common, and probably the person that saw Milky Way in the planetarium discover a wonderful Milky Way, but could be for the first time. And it is interesting to involve students to go outside to looking for that in the best condition with the help of the parents and so on. Okay, just to show some example. What we do recently about this page is to try to involve the colleague of our countries to prepare a short test about the main celestial object visible to naked eye. And this is a list of all the show of the sky. And we do that also because we prepare another project that collect. Okay, I arrived with this. Is the project Idiomi project that involve the colleague to prepare a text in the local dialect or minority language about this kind of I'm looking for the, sorry, I forgot to prepare that, no problem. No problem, okay. I arrived. There is the description on the web, but is in a Facebook page, therefore if you are also on Facebook, you can discover this list. Okay, this is the description of this project that collect short description about the main celestial body visible to naked eye, but also in local dialect and minority language. And there is also an example of one text in English that could be useful for you. And I'm looking for another link. Okay, this is, for example, is a short text that is available also in the audio recording and concern one of the planets. Okay, and I put here. Okay. Therefore, at the moment, we collect the description, short description, around each one is around 2,000 characters. Therefore, is a short test, and the audio recording in different languages, mainly in this moment about local dialects. But the idea is to collect also, please, what? I don't know. Do you have a link on normal internet or Facebook? I can, Marco, you receive a word index. You can share with probably is it faster to you to do that for you. It's just the index or all this that I sent to you by mail.
Okay,
Marco, you listen me?
Yeah, I'll search for it in the meantime.
It is on attached on the mail that you received, and there is the index of the first 15. Yes, with web, no Facebook, therefore no problem. And is the list from the Milky Way, solar eclipse, the 5 planets, and so on. And there is the example where are available. In this case, the list is in Italian, but obviously it's not a problem to prepare in English. And we begin just with 15, 16, and 17 chapter to prepare also directly in English and to publish on the web, and also to prepare a audio recording. Obviously, we try to do the same also with the previous test. The idea is very simple. If there are some colleagues available to prepare one of the audio recording of the first 15 chapter of this project that are already available. Obviously, I can prepare the English translation. It's not a problem for everyone who's using, obviously, the Google. And obviously, it's not necessary to use this test. You can change. The test give only an idea about the content. The purpose is to promote the observation to naked eye without instrument. Imagine to tell that to person that doesn't know nothing about astronomy. Therefore, how is possible to see this kind of object and so on? And could be interesting also to prepare that also in different languages. And I try to involve also through Lionel, also the French community of planetariums. And there is already on the IPS resource page, audio, also the French page that contain this kind of, in fact, the most rich page are English and French at the moment. I think that this subject could be most interesting because it could be interesting for everyone. It's not necessary to be astronomer, lover of astronomy, just a curiosity, because as I said a lot of time, it is a pity don't watch one time in the life of the Milky Way, don't one time in the life of the solar eclipse and so on, or the planets. How many times happen to everyone to receive the question or a call phone? Oh, I saw a brilliant object in the twilight of the evening. Which is that object? Or there are some person that discover that only in the incredible condition when, for example, it's very close to the moon or so on. And I think that it's not so difficult to prepare a MP3 audio file, therefore just 2 minutes, usually with 2,000 characters of text. And also it's interesting to collect different voices because we are many involved in the use of video under the dome, but we can imagine also in the live reaction to listen a voice and to watch the star. Therefore, this collection of audio recording could be interesting also for students that learn different languages, because obviously can be an activity of scientific interest and also of language interest. Therefore, if we prepare different languages, could be interesting. In the case that someone is interested to prepare also in local dialect, could be again another occasion to increase and also to collect new word about astronomy. For example, the two collaborators that collaborated with us for the translation in 2 local dialects, each month to translate the Italian text, obviously meet many difficulty for some word because it's not included in some local dialect. Therefore, we are creating also a new dictionary for this local dialect. And in fact, at the end, the idea is to publish in a book all these texts and the new word, to prepare a dictionary and so on. Therefore, you can imagine many kind of use about that. And another idea, idea is to prepare. Oh, Marco, tell me when I need to. You don't tell me how many minutes. Probably I talk too much. Sorry.
Don't worry, it's very interesting.
Okay. And another interesting thing is the same text for a public event with the audience to listen the same text in one languages or local dialect in another. Obviously, it's necessary to project also the text because for some people it's impossible to follow, and could be there are some local dialects that are very, very curious, obviously. We doesn't understand nothing, but it could be curious. And also is a different way to describe the sky, the event that anyone can saw. Therefore, many, and to collaborate in this project is very easy. It is possible also to publish the audio recording and the text, not necessary in our website or in our website, but in the institutional website of the planetarium that collaborate in any place. It is enough to receive the link, and therefore we can prepare the index of all the link. Obviously, better if are on normal web page, not necessarily Facebook. And therefore, this the idea, and I hope that someone can be interested in the project. Another idea, obviously, when, for example, during meeting like that, could be also interesting to discuss the content of the text. For example, I prepare a text about the observation of Mercury, useful for everyone that doesn't know nothing about astronomy. Okay, this is an example. And you, Marco, or you, Alan, or you, Lionel, what is your idea? What do you change in the text or include and so on? This could be a big help to obtain a text that could be prepared by many persons and therefore more complete, but just obviously shorter text. Okay, sorry for my long, not perfect English description.
Oh, thank you. Loris, there's a question here. You have the collection of the audios, but can you provide along the audio the text? Right? I haven't really, we have to provide that too. so we can maybe translate, or sometimes, for example, in Spanish, we have many different accents in the countries, and they don't work among us. So we have to, even if it's in Spanish, I may have to again narrate it because of our intonation. So is there text along the audios?
On the web, the first 16 chapters are available in Italian, in 2 local dialects, and also the audio at the moment only in local dialect, in the 2 local dialects. Now I involve also the Italian community, hoping the collaboration, because remain the old idea to collect different planetarium voices.
Okay.
Therefore, the text is also an occasion to collect many different. Therefore, I hope to increase also the Italian recording, for example, about this text. And I hope that could be arrived also English text from different voices. For at the moment, we have the collaboration of Professor Kevin Milani for the new text. In fact, is a colleague from the Planetarium of Ebbing in Minnesota that someone know, and therefore he prepare each month the audio in the recording in English, and but all the 15 previous chapters are available to therefore it is very easy to, and you can imagine to continue because there are many descriptions that remain to complete the project, no problem.
Okay, perfect. Then I should invite my Spanish speaking people here, Don Carlos, Don Rodrigo. Let's participate in these things with our Spanish and our local dialects, the population that we have. Thank you, Doris. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so let me put back the presentation here. Well, I shall continue with what I was talking about before. And there's a certain doubt all the time about how do we do certain things in a mobile. When you have a fixed big dome, well, for example, this seating is fixed, so there's no way to move that. But if you're in a mobile, you can do many different things, and some may be obvious, but some are not so much. For example, about the mirror and fisheye, depending on the system that you could get. Obviously, the mirror will allow you to have a frontal distribution of the images, so people are going to be like looking at the same place. You have fisheye, you have the option of being concentric, right? But even if you have a fisheye concentric projector, you may get a production that was made for fixed domes, and everything gets projecting in a side of the dome, and that's a problem. I'll tell you why. For example, look at this image. We acquired recently the dinosaurs projection program from render area, and it's frontal. And in our concentric mobile dome, which is just 5-meter dome, many people are going to be just like with their neck, like, oh my God, it's going to be there all the time, like 20-30 minutes, the whole thing. Oh, I'm sitting in the wrong place. That's what they end up doing. Maybe just turning around, they lay down, or I don't know, but it's not comfortable. So I have to confess, and I did that in the last meeting, without altering the product. I have to identify the different scenes of the program, cut, and rotate them democratically around the dome. So if this character appears here, then we go back to a dinosaur. It may go to the other side of the planetarium, or on some angled the other way. So people can be just moving around their heads, staring and making use of the whole planetarium. But it really does not work, at least for our concentric projector, if the production is just frontal. So I have to really rotate. How? It's very easy. You just cut, And you decide, okay, this one will go like 60 degrees this way, the other one like 90 degrees the other way, or a very long scene. You can start in a position and start rotating it slowly for a minute or two, maybe that's what the scene will last, and it will end up here. So even if somebody has it behind or on top, at least it will move a little bit and they can watch it later on here. So it's very dynamic. I keep watching the people. And that's the way I discovered that the frontal it's not working for us, and I had to fix every program that we had in that. For example, next image here, when we film things for our planetarium, we use the camera and render it as concentric as possible. Although sometimes, for example, if the focus has to be on that house, for example, you raise it a little bit. So just a little bit. But then the other topic will appear on the other side of the dome. Just being democratic for a concentric format. Okay? Of course, if you are in a mirror, it's good. The thing that I don't feel comfortable about is that with frontal projection, you are turning your planetarium into a big IMAX screen, like a movie theater. And you can have then the people all the time staring at the same spot, laying down. It's more common that you get the adults sleeping, as good as the production may be. But if they don't move, they can fall asleep or get bored. So I do that dynamic with making the people move their bodies during the program. Okay, just an observation or recommendation here. So which other, that's about the concentric and frontal thing. The other one thing I wanted to discuss, I think this is sitting up or laying down. Okay, it may seem trivial. Sitting up, laying down, the people in the dome. I have a debate with my own wife. She operates our planetarium, and she prefers to tell the kids, just lay down. And I ask her, why? All the time? Yes, because that way they move less. It's less likely that they move around the dome in the darkness and they behave better. That's what she says. But there's a thing with the perspective. Look at this. For example, we may agree that this is good for concentric. Doesn't matter where you are, it will be okay. But if you are laying down on your head, staring up, it's okay. It's the sky, it's the stars up above. They're supposed to be above us. But what about this? If you are laying down on the floor, you're looking at the top of the dome, and you end up looking at this image just like we are doing right now. A flat, distorted, circle, weird image. It's like just like this. 5-meter dome. You're laying down, look up, and this is what you see. So you lose all the effect of the dimensions of things and the perspectives. So what do I do? Depending on the program, I tell the people, okay, I would recommend for this one, just keep sitting up. If you want to lay down, okay, that's on you. But my recommendation, keep sitting up so you can see things properly, especially because in a small dome, this projection is going to be right on top of you. We start the projection on top of the people's head from here. So the elements, the walls and things that on this image will be just like they're at my eye level, okay? So it really bothers me to make people just look up at an image like this. So sitting down around it. Just think about what you have in your configuration of your planetariums and decide what's better, how to have the people, how are they located in the dome, okay? This is random. It doesn't matter how you are located in the dome, but this, you don't want to look at this up the dome, just like that. No, you have it to be sitting. So you can see things at your side, the river and the boat, and the trees are down here and the sky is up there. Get the idea? Okay. And the other last topic here. about the live or pre-recorded. Well, there's many conservative thinking about okay, live was really better. It demanded more from the presenter, and pre-recorded that you just press play. That's not a planetarium. See, but the mixing thing, all of this according to what you need to do is what we really have to achieve. Because, for example, all of these venues, for example, we go to schools, high schools, and so we have school kids. That's one thing very different from, for example, companies, where we get in a commercial environment, adults that want to see a corporate full dome video. We have done that. In communities where you have to be able to present to all ages, and maybe the elderly people, they need a chair, a wheelchair. There are many other conditions. We have shopping malls, and they tell us, okay, we need nice presentation about Mars, but we needed 90 minutes. And so you have to re-edit the whole thing. And we need our logo, and we need to deliver a message from our company. So you have to be ready for all of that. This is training session. So the planetarium was one of the places where they had to enter and do some exercise, an interactive exercise. And in private events, whatever, so you have to turn that into, I don't know, a wine bar or music festival, whatever you have to do for birthday parties, for example. So live or pre-recorded, it's going to depend on what you are going to do. Okay, but that debate about if we do it live or do it pre-recorded, both have value. For example, if I have 10 to 14 presentations during the day, I cannot do that just live. My voice won't be able to do that. So I may intervene a bit, and the rest just use the pre-recorded things that, anyway, I did that. So it's my own voice, my own message that I'm delivering with the pre-recorded program. Questions? And yes, that's a real photograph. Do you have any comments on this? Okay, Lionel.
Yes, some things about interactivity. Of course, it's great to have audience participating and then exchanging things and asking questions, asking for answers, and so on. But some having a too long presentation with only one people talking is after a while difficult for the audience. That's why we recommend in small domes, mobile domes, to have short sequences of 5 minutes, no more, at least 10 minutes, but it's maybe too much, about something else, something that the audience will keep with another way of listening. And that changes the pace and make it easier for even small children to listen and to get information in multiple way. And that's why I think it's great to manage to change the type of animation or experience we can provide into the dome. And just if I can share my screen a little bit, I would like to show you that a spacecrafter can do something interesting without disturbing the video itself, is okay. For example, if you have a video that present something oriented, it's possible with the software by pressing D during a video play to I have a problem. Yeah, it crashed. Sorry. It's possible to divide the screen in two, keep the lower part of the screen and duplicate it on top of the screen. Sorry, I have to launch it again. to show you the stuff. And some shows are like, for example, if I can find it, maybe it'll be better. It's the show, yeah, World of Curiosity. Maybe that you know that has been made, and it's oriented in some way. But after a while, here it can be duplicated, and using the D button on Spacecrafter, we can put the image so that in oriented mode, it's no problem. And for example, here it can be duplicated as well, and you can change it on the fly. And what is possible as well with the software is to have any video that is played, so to be duplicated, yes, but also to be changed of orientation. But how come it doesn't work? So we can rotate it on the fly, but here I have some limitations. So to have the video rotating and the image and the software as well can be rotated on the fly. So that's all I wanted to show you.
Yeah, okay, that
can give you ideas.
For for the logo and the credits and things. Yes, we duplicate that. Sometimes front and back, and then we change left to right. We can even do that. So we keep alternating the position.
Yeah, it depends on where is the door. Maybe it's better east west, so left right instead of back and in front as well.
Okay, nice. Well, that's great. You see, if you go back to the YouTube archive of IPS channel, all these meetings, we already have quite a resource for anyone either starting or already in this kind of work, because we're all busy with what's next, right? And maybe I would love to have it explore that software, but that's not what I need right now. I have to solve another problem with the dome, but it's all there. And so I would recommend everyone just check everything, because we have already accumulated quite a bit of things. One last thing I wanted to ask you, for the next meeting with the board of directors, I would love to tell them if we have any requests or inquiries from the mobile planetarium community around. I don't know if we have thought about that possibility. Something we may, like the board of directors, think about that may help the mobile dome community. Don't answer me like right now, but I'll just put my email in the chat. But if you have any good idea about what can we talk about in that meeting, I'll be glad to deliver the message. There it is. You just can tell me any idea that you may want me to discuss with them. Okay. So any other observation, question for today? Okay. Well, it's been great. I really appreciate all your time, and now we have even more resources with this meeting, and we'll soon publish when is going to be the next one. Okay. Thank you for coming, everybody. See you next time.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Thanks. Nice to see everybody.
For everything. Sure.
Bye. Bye. See you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
நன்றி வணக்கம்.
Hasta luego.
Goodbye to everybody from
Latinoamérica,
Greece.
hasta luego.
Ciao, ciao.
Desde Argentina, saludos.
Saludos. ¿Quién es?
Denis Martínez.
Ah, muy bien, encantada.